What is the Gen Z stare and why is everyone talking about it? Hi, I'm Maria Paula Bermeo, clinical psychologist, and on this channel we talk about various topics and we analyze them from a psychological point of view. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Before starting this video, I want to remind you that I give in-person and online therapy. So if you need a consultation, please feel free to reach me out on my social media, my phone number, my email. All of them will be listed down below on the description box as well. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, it will help me out a lot. And if there's a specific topic that you would like me to talk about, leave it in the comments down below or feel free to DM me on my Instagram. I'm always open to suggestions and I love interacting with you all. Okay, as you may know if you've been watching my videos for a while, I use socials a lot. To have a laugh sometimes, but others I'm just waiting for something curious to pop up on my timeline so I can make an episode out of it and hopefully entertain you, and that's what happened honestly. I was scrolling through my Facebook. Yes, I do use it and I use it often, and I came across a post talking about something called the Gen Z stare. I don't exactly remember what it said and I couldn't screenshot it because I accidentally updated my feed and lost it, but it was something along the lines that it was out of control. Despite me losing the post, the term Gen Z stare is stuck in my brain, and I can be a curious person at times, so I decided to go to the most reliable source that could clarify me what is this whole thing about. TikTok. And I fell into this rabbit hole of people describing what is it, others mocking it, Gen Zers and millennials fighting over it. Quite a mess, but overall this phenomenon exposes some stuff of society psychology. But let's watch some videos about it, some comments, react to them, and reflect about this whole subject. At first glance, you could say that the Gen Z stare is someone, most likely a Gen Zer, getting frozen when they have some sort of human interaction. So they look at you dead in the eyes before actually reacting, making the whole exchange weird. And just with that, I could say I comprehend why people are making a big deal out of it. It is a fact that younger individuals could be perceived as socially awkward, but let's remember this demographic could be weaker in the social area, as unfortunately something called COVID happened, which forced us to isolate, and Gen Z happened to be in their developmental years. Sure, many of them were like 23 by 2020. However, these days it's said that our brains finalize their development at approximately 24, 25 years old, meaning that the older Gen Zers sort of closed their mental development with a severe imbalance caused by a forced segregation disrupting their minds. And let's be honest, for most, isolation was like frozen time, meaning that maybe those older Gen Zers didn't actually finish their development, including their social skills one. And that's just only the older spectrum of Gen Z, because the rest of them were between the ages 10 to 22, meaning that they had a couple of years left to evolve and establish their personalities, behaviors, and as we know, isolation was definitely not helpful. Who could Gen Zers directly interact with other than their family members? Which is actually going backwards because we all did that as toddlers, and on the next stages we're supposed to develop in the outside world with other people, which wasn't possible while being stuck at home. In simpler words, Gen Z made a regression which is palpable with things as the Gen Z stare.
There's a new phenomenon that's taking over. It's called the Gen Z stare. Now, it looks like this. It's basically a blank stare with dead eyes and complete silence, often used in customer service jobs, or it could be a response to a parent asking something really annoying like, how's your room cleaning up going?
This so-called Gen Z stare has divided the internet and even generations, with people arguing that's actually become a real problem in the workplace. The stare has been described as a vacant, unresponsive gaze, which the group uses instead of small talk when responding to customers, co-workers, and people in general. Some have debated that the stare is used when responding to a customer who's asking a question that's considered dumb or stupid.
Do you guys sell cookies here? We have the Gen Z stare because most of y'all are just clueless. Some customers make you question, how are these real people?
It's fully booked. I can't put you in that class.
But some say it's been misinterpreted, arguing that the stare replaces what would normally be a verbal response to questions such as, "Hi, how are you?"
Gen Z does that for mandatory small talk.
We're talking about the stare when anyone tries to have just a normal human interaction with you, like in the flesh, and you guys freeze the up.
Now, this stare has sparked a broader debate on whether younger generations just lack communication skills in the workplace. According to a study by US firm Intelligent, 18% of managers have considered quitting because of the stress managing Gen Z employees. The report also found that managers say that Gen Z engage in excessive phone use and demonstrate poor work ethic.
Okay, that gave me more context. I do gotta say that in many cases that dead, stiff look does not necessarily come from Gen Z, but from rude individuals of any age. Just putting that out there. However, it could be very common in Gen Z because they are lacking in socialization. Let me dig further. I said that during the pandemic we were all isolated, and of course it could have affected everyone's mental sanity, but it could have had a greater damage in the younger demographic because they were still developing. Now, I previously mentioned a huge chunk of human beings only socialized with their families or the people they lived with, which is regressing to toddlerhood, in which the only world the kid knows is home. And many were even alone, so they didn't even have one single person to say hi to, losing every single bit of socializing knowledge they may have had. Why is this relevant? Because when the doors finally reopened, those teens, young adults that froze in time, went back to being children sent to kindergarten, in which kids learn to establish conversations, friendships with strangers, and they evolve in the social aspect. The difference is that for many of those individuals, the playground has been a counter, an office, any job in which basically they are surrounded by others that most likely have had experience in the working force and social area prior to the pandemic, that have developed more social skills and therefore assume everyone has them too, including those younger people. So they go to them, ask them a question, whether if it's about some sort of service, or try to have some small talk, and they receive a stare. Most likely because the Gen Zer enters in an anxious state, thinking what to do because they are not used to unfamiliar faces approaching them all of the sudden, just as a kid when you tell them hello. The kid usually replies timidly or doesn't reply at all due to their still developing skills, which could be considered as, oh, the kid is so cutely shy. But it's not perceived as adorable when an adult does it, but rather weird, which is happening to Gen Z. On the other hand, the Gen Z stare might not only mean regression, but also shows us how much time they've spent on their cell phones, which also causes this blank reaction when having to interact in the real world. Screen time has been a concern for ages now, even prior to the pandemic, that is a fact, but it's a reality that isolation increased it as well, because we had no other way to communicate with people, to even get entertained. Nonetheless, the aftermath has not been great, because people have become so used to their cell phones, to social media, and that has just weakened real face-to-face exchanges. Maybe a significant part of our population has just gotten used to being trapped in their own virtual bubble, but that has distorted the way we interact, as it gives people more time to overthink. When you're about to post or send something, you most likely first think, what am I going to post? What am I going to reply with? Then you have some or plenty of ideas, retake the pic, refilm the video, re-record the voice note, rewrite the message, check it 1,000 times, and maybe repeat the process until you're fully satisfied. But that behavior has translated to the real world, in which that is not functional. Because that might be why those adults freeze when they have some basic human interaction. They stay still thinking, what do I respond? Or maybe they enter in panic mode, maybe their minds go completely blank as they seriously don't know what to do, making the interaction with them pretty much awkward.
Hi, how are you? Can I get a kid's cheeseburger Happy Meal with no onions? My daughter has like this weird onion allergy, so I just want to make sure those aren't on there. And a Sprite to drink, please. Okay. So do I pay now, or can I just tap my card right here? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna tap my card now. Okay. Tap. Okay. We're good? It went through? Okay. Good. Thanks.
Hi, welcome in. How is everyone tonight? Can I get you started with something to drink? Do you need a minute? I can give you a minute. Take your time.
I know that was a bit exaggerated to what objectively happens, but those exchanges could get pretty uncomfortable and some might perceive them just as weird as those videos portrayed, making the whole thing concerning. Gen Z has reacted to this whole thing though, trying to explain what does the stare really mean, why do they really do it, and they have also said that it's just another generational tick, just as the millennial pause. You know, when someone starts a video like, "Hi Fred." Anyway, they say it's not a huge deal, but let's watch some justifications.
Do you guys sell cookies here? Can I have a double scoop of chocolate and cookies and cream, but can I have them separate?
So 2 single scoops?
No, but separate.
So a double scoop, but 2 single scoops.
Can I get one dark chocolate chip, please?
Yeah, 1 dark chocolate chunk.
Yeah, the dark chocolate chip. Do you guys sell ice cream?
Hi, welcome in. Sorry, we don't have any more cookies left.
Okay, can I get a s'mores cookie?
We don't have any cookies left. We have ice cream, but we don't have.
Oh, can I get a chocolate chip cookie then, please?
Other users have similar takes, such as the Gen Z stare is, "Are you dead as right now?" or "What do you even want me to say?" Is the Gen Z stare supposed to be like the millennial pause? Because the Gen Z stare is literally just not wanting to deal with crazy people and crazy questions, so we take a second before talking, especially when you walk up, because we know it's fine to be some BS. First of all, I think the Gen Z stare and the millennial pause are the same in different situations in which one is more functional than the other. Millennials do pause at the beginning or the end of a video, maybe to make sure the recording started or finished and avoid making some weird face or gesture or saying something that could be turned into a meme, but it happens in a digital social media context. The Gen Z stare is a glitch that's happening in real life. Dear Gen Zers, you might be doing the millennial pause live, you just don't realize it because you're not rewatching it in a video, but indeed it could be perceived as weird or rude because you are leaving someone that's right in front of you in red basically. You cannot ghost them, you most likely should respond, but if you don't know how and have to overthink about it, that could mean you need some social skill training to be functional in society, because unfortunately life is not an algorithm that works around you as individuals. You need to adapt or you'll stay behind. On the other side, I get it, it might be annoying to receive evident questions, but at the same time, it concerns me that Gen Z might not realize that sometimes those obvious questions are a way to break the ice, which exposes their weak emotional intelligence as well. Because yes, sometimes those obvious questions come from distracted individuals that don't see what's in front of them, but other times it is just human beings trying to be nice and establish a conversation. Whether if it's small or long, they are just socializing with you. Gen Z stare, it's literally an appropriate reaction to a dystopic capitalist society in the midst of an economic crisis and constant fear of war. It's called We Hate Life and Make Minimum Wage Stare. That doesn't make things better. If anything, it exposes the rising prevalence of mental illnesses within society that should not be romanticized by putting them a trendy name as the Gen Z stare. If you are using that look to express your disappointment with life in general, I'm sorry to break it down to you, but displacing your discontent to people that have nothing to do with your issues is dysfunctional. That won't solve anything, that won't change things. It could actually worsen your state of mind because staring at people with dead eyes will only cause them to distance from you, so you could become more isolated and therefore more depressed with a lower self-esteem, with less and less social skills. That is more harmful than addressing your own personal difficulties, maybe doing some self-analysis, or having the guidance of an ethical mental health provider that will help you to dig into the root of your issues, its consequences, maybe even confront you so you can accept your difficulties and commit to change. And the professional in question will facilitate you with the tools you need to improve, to change many thoughts, behaviors, habits. As staring at people because you don't know how to express your discomfort, your anger, you don't know how to establish a conversation, you are not used to one-on-one interactions due to your extensive use of social media, or you're just done with life and try to channel it with the outside world that has no responsibility with what's happening to you. Trust me, if you take that first step to change, you'll feel more free because you won't be freezing when someone approaches you, but rather you'll interact with them more fluidly, or maybe you'll be able to express your dislike for something and set boundaries on time, and you'll feel psychologically better over time. And finally, this is a warning to keep an eye on Gen Alpha, those born in between 2010 2024, who are still developing and have a bigger chance of solving these similar difficulties or prevent them as they are still growing. Please, adults, help them, encourage them to reduce their screen time, to not depend on technology, but rather be creative, motivate them to go outside a bit more, to interact with their peers, so their social skills, their motricity, their talents, their intelligence, their mindset can flourish healthily. Seriously, long term, that will guarantee them a better mental health and a better adaptation to society. Is there something you learned from this video or something that you would like to add to the conversation? Leave it on the comments down below. Also, don't forget to like and share with someone that may find this useful, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you never miss out from more interesting psychology content. Thanks for watching.